For thousands of years, people in old societies knew that life doesn't just happen. They also knew that there were times when invisible doors opened to reveal a secret truth. The March 20th equinox is one of those times. It's a cosmic event with so much power that if you understand it and use it correctly, it can totally change your life. The Egyptians built tombs to hold this energy, and the Mayans built shrines where a light serpent moved across the stone on this day. To cross the wall, the Druids did holy practices. The people in between worlds knew that the equinox was more than just a change in seasons. It was also a time of resetting energy and lining up the visible and unseen forces that shape our awareness. Scientists say this is the time when day and night are the same length and the sun crosses the celestial equator. But for those who are initiated, this balance is more than just physical. It's a shift in vibrations that separates what was and what will be. If you've been feeling different lately, or if you've had signs like vivid dreams or sudden energy shifts, know that this isn't random. The ancients said that people who hear the call of the equinox are being ready for a change that can't be undone. You can't ignore this call. Your thoughts, feelings, and plans now have more weight. Now is the time to let go of what doesn't serve you and access a higher level of consciousness. If you ignore this chance, things will stay the same. But if you answer the call and walk through this portal, things will never be the same again. The choice is yours. Are you ready? The March Equinox is one of the most powerful times of the year because it's the only day when day and night last the same amount of time. This alignment doesn't just happen in the sky, it also happens inside every person. It's an energetic reset that marks the end of one cycle and the beginning of a new one. Many ancient cultures knew how important this day was. For example, the Egyptians noticed that on this day, sunlight would shine deep into sacred temples, lighting up secret chambers that would stay dark for the rest of the year. They saw this as a sign of awakening consciousness, and the moment when what had been hidden could finally be shown. That on this day, sunlight would shine deep in sacred temples, lighting up secret chambers that would stay dark for the rest of the year. They saw this as a sign of awakening consciousness, and the moment when what had been hidden could finally be shown. The equinox was when the Serpent of Light descended the pyramid of Kukulkan in Chichen Itza, an amazing optical event that represents divine energy coming down to Earth. The Celts celebrated this date with ceremonies that marked the change from winter to spring, realizing that nature was awakening and that everyone was awakening at the same time. We think that the year starts in January because of the modern calendar, but this is a new tradition that wasn't based on natural cycles. For true alchemists, the real new year started with the March Equinox because they knew that this was when nature renewed itself, when the planet's energy reorganized, and when life woke up from its sleep and got ready to bloom. January is a month of change, and many energies from the last cycle are still around. March, on the other hand, is the real start of any big shift. The sun moves into the sign of Aries, which means it's time to start a fire. As the first sign of the zodiac, Aries is the icon of action, bravery, and the primal urge to do something. The world is calling us to take the first step right now. We must let go of our fears from the past and stop waiting and planning forever, because those plans will only keep us stuck in the past. It's time to make the first move, spark our inner flame, and use it to light a new path. The equinox is more than just a change in the seasons. It's a call for everyone to find balance within themselves, to their shadows and their light, to know that every change takes courage, but that now is the perfect time to burn away what doesn't serve and let the new bloom. The great work and alchemical process of the equinox have already begun. Like an unseen layer is peeling off, something inside you feels different. What seems solid is starting to dissolve, and a new view is starting to show itself. This isn't just a feeling. It's a real, deep, and ancient process. The change from Negredo to Albo Negredo is what alchemists call this stage of the process. Darkness breakdown is when your illusions fall apart, and you have to face everything that doesn't serve you anymore. It's the weight of old beliefs, old habits, and old ideas about who you thought you were. During this time of silence, everything falls apart. For many, it may feel like the end, but the ancients knew it wasn't. The equinox stands for the start of this. The turning point light is back. As dawn breaks, darkness fades and something new appears. This is the time of albo purification. Like nature awakening in spring, our minds also go through this growing process. What was once thick becomes refined, and what was doubtful becomes clear. The great thinkers taught that all real change must go through a pattern of dissolution and reintegration. They called this the solvent coagula principle, which means that first the old and rigid must be broken down, including ideas, feelings, and internal structures. Breaking down everything that stands in the way of progress is the first step in rebuilding. But this isn't about going back to who you were before. The alchemical process isn't a trip to the past. It's the start of something brand new. In ancient times, people used this equinox period to reach higher levels of reality. Egyptians held initiation ceremonies in temples where the sun shone at perfect angles, symbolizing a soul's return. Shamans of different traditions saw this time as a way to move between worlds and see what would happen in the future. Alchemists thought that this was the time when matter and spirit could come together, speeding up the process of enlightenment. They also thought that the key to this transformation had always been inside the human body. In the alchemical symbolism of the serpent, this dormant energy moves up the spine and awakens higher centers of perception. A lot of people feel big changes around this time, like intense dreams, stronger intuition, and an overwhelming desire to leave the old and start something new. This isn't happening by chance. If you feel this shift, it's because you're already in the process. The question now isn't whether it's happening or not, but how you're going to handle eclipses and the breaking down of the old reality. There are times when transmutation speeds up and nothing stays the same, even before the equinox. The sky has already started to change between March 14th and March 29th. With two eclipses opening a portal of intense reconfiguration that breaks down the old structure of reality. The ancients knew that eclipses were more than just events in the sky. They were also windows into secret realities that led to rebirth. Times when the lines between what could be seen and what couldn't be seen became less clear. The first of these events has already happened. The March 14 moon eclipse was a call to let go of patterns that had been deeply rooted in people's minds for a long time. Emotions that had been buried for a long time came to the surface. For the last time, cycles repeated, and everything that had been hidden became very clear. Lunar eclipses affect our emotions and psyche, and this one in particular brought up deep and lasting memories. Many people felt the weight of family patterns becoming clear, and relationships breaking up or changing without notice. As the equinox approaches, the energy starts to reorganize, but the big activation will happen on March 29th with the solar eclipse. Unlike the first eclipse, which dug deep into the layers of consciousness, this one calls for initiation. If the lunar eclipse was a time of revelations, the solar eclipse is the time of a new cycle, a time when reality changes shape. Alchemists thought that solar eclipses made matter more malleable, as if the world went into a suspended state where new plans could be made and dates could be changed. The moon's short darkness people have always seen eclipse as a cosmic reset, a time when the original light comes back to the universe. That's why ancient civilizations held ceremonies during this time, knowing that whatever was said under the shadow of the eclipse would have even more power in the months to come. This isn't just an astronomical event. It's a sign that something is changing on a much bigger level, both in the sky and within each person. The mystery of the Venus star point and the alchemy of love and purpose since the first eclipse, what needed to be let go of, has come to the surface. The equinox is coming up, which marks the start of a new cycle. But before this door fully opens, on March 22, Venus meets the Sun in a rare event called the Venus star point. At this point in Venus' cycle, she dies and is reborn. For a short time, Venus disappears from view as the Sun's strong rays soak her up. The ancients saw this as a cleansing process in which Venus's energy underwent kind of rebirth before returning with a new vibe. In alchemy, Venus has a lot more to do with its power than just sexual feelings. Venus has always been linked to love, harmony, and beauty. Venus is the bridge between matter and spirit, the principle of fusion that drives change, and the union of opposing forces. This alignment doesn't just change relationships. It changes ideas too. Soul wants and the way to goal. When Venus dies in the Sun, it makes us think about what we really value, what we're willing to let go of, and what emotional patterns, beliefs, and old connections need to be changed. This moment forces us into a deep realignment where everything that isn't in line with our true path becomes undeniable. Ancient alchemists saw this phase as a time of integration. After this cleansing phase, Venusian energy returns with new strength, sparking creativity, bringing out hidden wants and showing what's important in each person's journey. It's not just any alignment. It's a restart point where old stories are burned in the sun's light to make room for something new. This is the energy of the equinox. The ancients never left anything to chance. The equinox was more than just a change in the seasons. It was a portal, a connection between Earth and the cosmos, a moment when reality itself became less solid. But how did they know this? And why did so many civilizations spread out over long distances build their shrines and monuments so precisely in time with this celestial event? The Egyptian pyramids, what the Mayans built, the Druids' stone circles, and even monuments from lesser-known cultures were all built to line up with the equinox. These ancient people knew that the sun's position at this time not only marked the change in natural cycles, but also changed the planet's vibration, giving them a chance to access hidden knowledge and speed up their spiritual growth. In Chichen Itza, Mexico, the Kulan pyramid was built so that on the equinox, sunlight projects a glowing serpent slithering down its stairs. The Mayans didn't just see this as a feat of architecture. They saw it as a sign of spiritual energy coming down to earth to guide people. The Egyptians, on the other hand, built temples so that light would flow through narrow passageways at this exact time of year, shedding light on figures and secret chambers for them. This stood for rebirth. Shedding light on figures and secret chambers for them. This stood for rebirth. The change from darkness to light, which is a direct mirror of the soul's journey. Many years ago, people used alchemy to figure out that Stonehenge and other stone circles across Europe were energy doorways that were lined up to harness the sun's power at the equinox. At this time, the Druids believed that the veil between worlds was getting thinner, which let them talk to spiritual beings more directly and improve their relationship to nature's cycles. Is there something these civilizations knew that we have forgotten? They knew that Earth and the other planets are connected by invisible energy fields, and that the way the sun moved on certain days affected not only the physical world but also people's minds. The equinox was not only an astronomical event, it was also a turning point, a time when light and shadow were equal, creating a unique chance for transformation. This effect doesn't just happen in the sky, it also happens inside us, because our bodies are extensions of nature and respond to changes in vibration. Planetary alignment has a direct effect on the chakras, especially the higher ones, making them more sensitive to mental energy and sharpening awareness. Resetting the Earth's atmosphere changes brainwaves, which makes it easier to reach higher states of consciousness. The ancients called the pineal gland the all-seeing eye. Modern science knows that it controls the circadian rhythm and how we see time. During the equinox, this gland is stimulated more than usual, which is why so many people report vivid dreams, stronger intuition, and a feeling that something bigger is about to happen. Physically, a lot of people have periods of extreme fatigue followed by bursts of pure inspiration and mental clarity. Others feel like they need to change their lives to break free from old patterns and reconnect with something they can't quite name yet. These are all signs that the body is processing this new frequency. They knew this was the best time for renewal ceremonies. They knew that the equinox wasn't just an outside change. It was also a rare chance to awaken consciousness to something much bigger than everyday reality. They did things like fasting, meditating at sunrise, and being in direct touch with nature to help their bodies and minds absorb this energy without resistance. Practices to cross the equinox gate, and the body can already feel change. To consciously cross this portal of transformation, preparation is necessary. The ancients knew not only how powerful this moment was, but also how someone aligns with it can shape the course of the new cycle that begins. That's why they used specific rituals to cleanse their anchor intentions and connect direct with the sun's force. The first step is to cleanse the energetic field. Just as the earth renews itself, humans need to let go of the vibrational residue that is built up over previous cycles. The purification ritual works with the four elements: fire, which burns and changes forms; water, which dissolves and renews; air, which moves and expands; and earth, which holds it all together. Fire can be a candle flame or smudging with plants like sage, rosemary, or myrrh, which help clear the air of heavy energies; or exhaled water, which can be herbal baths or just swimming in a river or the ocean, helps clear emotional and mental blocks. Conscious breathing can work the air by letting go of everything that doesn't serve with each exhale. Walking barefoot or connecting with crystals like selenite and clear quartz can help settle this new frequency. Once the field is clean, the next step is to anchor and create it. It's the equinox, a time when goals become stronger because light and shadow are equal. The ancients knew that planting a seed during this opening would give it the power of a whole new cycle. One of the best ways to anchor is to write your goals on paper and bury them in the ground. The roots represent dedication to what is being created, and the earth provides a good environment for these wishes to grow. Lighting a candle during this process raises the vibration of the request, and putting a glass of water nearby lets the energy flow without any resistance. The solar link rite is an important thing to do on the equinox. The sun is the source of all life, and its light has a special energy code on this day. Taking a deep breath and picturing yourself meeting the sun with open palms at sunrise or sunset is a powerful and symbolic way to absorb its power. Every cell in the body is filled with golden light, which helps this energy flow. Getting into higher states of consciousness at this time, natural alchemy also plays a part. Elements like chlorophyll taken from plants help the body absorb sunshine better, making the link with this frequency stronger. As far back as ancient alchemy goes, monatomic gold was used to stimulate the pineal gland and broaden awareness beyond the physical sun. Elixirs made by energizing water in the sun's light were used to store this energy and spread it over the next few days. None of this is nonsense or myth. This is an old practice that comes from the way nature and human awareness work together. Not only does the equinox happen outside, it also happens inside each of us. Those who choose to consciously cross it have the chance to experience a greater level of change. If you got this message by chance, know that it wasn't by chance. The ancients taught us that certain words, symbols, and signs show up just when we are ready to receive them. Not only is the equinox a celestial event, it's also a call and a bridge between what was and what will be. You can feel it, don't you? Something inside you knows the time has come. There are times when life seems to rearrange itself around us. Small coincidences start to show up in vivid dreams, unexpected intuitions, and meetings that change the course of destiny happen more often when a door like the equinox opens. It's like the world is. There are signs that a new cycle is about to start, but it's up to each of us to listen. In ancient times, people who saw signs around the equinox were being prepared for a permanent change, not just a small change, but a real transmutation. As the snake sheds its skin or the phoenix rises from the ashes, so does an old self make way for a brand new one. The process may seem subtle at first, but once it starts, there's no going back. If this message reached you, it means you're ready to cross this threshold, but you have to choose to do so. You can ignore the signs, keep doing what you're doing, and let this energy pass you by. Or you can choose to walk toward the unknown, knowing that something inside you will never be the same again. As with all gates, the equinox will close at some point. In a one-of-a-kind moment, there is a hole in the fabric of time where the energy of change is at full strength, but only those who choose to step through it can reach it. Crossing it means letting go of beliefs, patterns, and fears that aren't helping you on your journey anymore. It also means realizing that the outside world has always been a reflection of your inner vibration, and that if you change inside, everything around you will change too. Now you have to decide. Will you stay stuck in the same cycle of telling yourself the same stories, or will you take a step forward and accept that you're ready for something bigger? The portal is open. The time is now. Are you ready to walk through it? Before you go, I have a special video waiting for you to help you take the next step on this journey. A more in-depth look at everything we've talked about here and how to use it in your own life. So don't leave just yet.